You're right. You're being called a Greek dude. Who knows about the Odyssey? Yeah, that. Sorry. So, I don't want to talk a lot about that, but it comes from when Odysseus went on all his adventures. He left his son with someone named Mentor to take care of him. So, would you want to leave your child, if you were literally gone for years, would you leave them with someone who was just a teacher? Or would you want to leave them with someone who was a mentor? Just think about that. So, let's just talk about the definition for a minute. What would you say is the definition of a teacher?
Well, the first word that comes to mind is top down. So,
Okay,
when I think about it, that
top down. And what comes down from the top?
information.
Information. Okay. Anything else?
I was going to say kind of the same thing. Someone who explains information, kind of spouts it off, and shares their knowledge with you.
Okay. Great. Anyone else have anything with teacher? Pretty well defines it. Okay, what about mentor?
I think especially when I'm looking at the two terms side by side, I get a sense that I kind of assign a teacher as imparting information they feel the recipient needs, and a mentor imparts information that the recipient needs. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Say that one more time.
The teacher imparts information they think the recipient needs, and a mentor imparts information that the recipient needs. And then they take themselves out of the equation.
The mentor is maybe more about what they know. I
So
want
it's
to
a
give. The mentor is more about.
transference of knowledge.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So let me read you this definition. Well, this is the role of a mentor. The role of a mentor is to build capability. The mentor helps the learner discover their own wisdom by encouraging them to work towards career goals or develop self-reliance. Mentors are different because they guide rather than just share information. They've already actually achieved what you want to and are aware of the pitfalls and discouragements that you'll encounter along the way, mostly because they've experienced those pitfalls themselves. Whereas the professor or the teacher tells the students, invites them to conform to certain ideas and standards, and grades or otherwise rewards or punishes them for their various levels of conformity. You can kind of see that for those of us who went to public school. Doesn't mean that there's not mentors. There are mentors everywhere in any type of learning atmosphere. So let's talk about some actual characteristics of mentors. What would you say are qualities that mentors would have?
One-on-one.
Okay, one-on-one consulting, or, okay.
I was going to say love, but I think that could go on both sides.
Well, that's okay, we can put it on both sides. Love teachers.
I don't want a teacher to sound like it's the lesser, because like piano lessons, I want a teacher, I don't know how you would mentor piano instruction kind of thing. So there could be a
There
way.
is some, yeah, there is some, but I agree. So that's okay, we're not saying that teachers are bad.
No, yeah.
You know, we're just gonna kind of compare. And there can be the same on each side. So give me some other, on either side, mentor or qualities, we're talking about
I
qualities.
think a mentor would individualize the opportunity for growth.
Okay,
I often associate teacher with more in mass or in a group setting or in the same method for everyone.
okay. What else?
I think of it as more of a shepherd versus a sheep herder. So one leads, and the other one's like hired public, you know, like when there's really trouble, or they don't necessarily stick around. The shepherd knows their names and sticks with them, there to fight to the death, you know. That's it.
Okay. So maybe it's even more of a cushion too, rather than a leading at times.
I think of mentors as incorporating values, and teachers aren't allowed to quite as much. Like
Just stick to the subject matter.
well, you have to be impartial as a teacher. You need to be impartial so that it applies to everyone. But mentors, you're allowed to share something that has value to you that is okay, and what do the students value that matters.
Maybe go beyond just the subject material.
Right.
It's not just about teaching this, it's about a bigger picture.
Let's see, like teacher is one size fits all, and mentor is adapting to the size of the individual. And sometimes a class needs a one size fits all lecture or whatever. Or there's certain subjects that need a teacher, but the mentor molds themselves to fit the student versus
Okay.
making the student fit them.
Yeah, and I think teachers can individualize too, but in general, if you're teaching a group and you're just being the teacher, you're gonna have to make it more of a split, right?
I was trying to think, like, what, something, it's hard for me to define, but separates them significantly. And I think it's that mentors stand for a place of experience or perspective, like life learned experience. And teachers don't necessarily embody that. They may have a wealth of knowledge, but it's not necessarily from a position of greater perspective or having experienced those things. They may have the knowledge, but it doesn't mean they have experience.
Maybe
Kind of
they can
wisdom
impart
versus
wisdom. Yeah, I was gonna
Right,
say.
especially mentors.
So more with,
Experience and perspective.
yeah, so more wisdom and experience versus knowledge. You would necessarily have to have this to be a teacher.
Right.
You can learn it and spew it out.
I think another synonymous word would be example, I talked about the Savior's traits
For
for a mentor.
We can both be examples.
Yes.
Or no, wait.
Well, yeah, that's what I was sitting here thinking, because we talked about Jesus' disciples saw his example, felt his teachings, and became his disciples. So I've been sitting here trying to decide.
Well, maybe, what about role model? To me, it's maybe
Oh, that's
they're a role model in maybe various ways, whereas a teacher, they could be a role model. But I think to me, a mentor is, more of an example, maybe overall, or at least in things other than just, I'm really good at biology.
Well, I'm thinking back on my teachers, the ones that felt what they taught, loved it, had a passion for it, I considered them more of a mentor. The ones who just wrote on the overhead and splurted things out, and I didn't feel that passion, that was more of a teacher to me.
Okay, definitely, yeah.
And I also associate mentoring with helping their mentees become something. And teaching can involve that, but at least it's to help you know something, not necessarily to get you to become something. And I think that maybe is a false distinction, but I think mentoring has to involve helping someone become something, not just know stuff.
I think too, the relationship is different with a mentor and a teacher. So with a mentor, it wouldn't only be about giving you a specific amount of information, it'd be knowing you and helping direct your path in some way, like very personal.
Okay, yeah. It's like almost like being an advisor.
With that comment, it just makes me reflect that that's often what makes me feel like someone becomes a mentor to me, is when I feel like they care about our relationship, and you can feel that. I think any teacher, when you feel that they care about you enough to know what you're going to do with what you're teaching them, that's what transforms them into a mentor.
A lot of teachers, we become mentors, but we don't grant them the title of such. Depending on
Absolutely.
their setting.
Yeah, and I
They
think
still be called a teacher, but they can be.
And I think it's when it becomes one-on-one, individual, and you sense they care. As I was thinking about this and thinking, who were mentors in my life, one person that came to mind was a professor of mine who actually didn't have a PhD, and so he was not a tenured professor. But he was somebody who had experience in the field. This was when I was in my major. And he was more of a mentor than some of the professors that had their PhDs. Not that they couldn't have been. That's who was his approach. He was an advisor. And he cared about me once I graduated. He actually helped me get my first job. I consulted with him when I had 3 different job offers and which one should I do, and he was my friend after that, and I stayed in touch with him. That to me was, he mentored me. He didn't just teach me. And I think that teachers can become mentors, like you say. Let's see, how did I word this? I thought, let me make sure I'm saying it right. So a mentor should always teach, but a teacher doesn't always mentor. Is one way I was thinking about it. Maybe we'll wait. I know we're kind of on time. I was going to talk more about what does it really look like, but maybe you guys are going to kind of talk more about that. And methods and what we can do in our group.
Sounds good.
Maybe I should go ahead and end because I know we're short.
Thank you, Valerie.